The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, episode 327 on deck. Excited to have you along for the ride tonight. You know, the farther and farther we go, deeper into the 300s and start approaching the halfway point through that 300 cycle, the more I'm reminded I need to make a new intro.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe you could get our graphics and video guy to work on that.
We got to get that back up and going. Maybe we'll pretend to address that by next week, and then just pretend we forgot it by the time we get back here.
Oh goodness!
Hopefully everybody enjoyed their day off. If you had the day off,
I worked
around here. You worked?
I worked.
Yeah, but that's also because in 2.5 weeks you're going to have the rest of the year off.
Pretty close, yeah.
It's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad.
No, take it as it comes. So we got a little bit of results to go over with the Unified Point Series. We've got some results to go over from up in Canada. We're going to look at the rest of the schedule that's forthcoming. Some locals are getting ready to head down to Burlington. We've got that sitting out there to hit on as well. It was a busy week for birthdays and stuff. Holy cow! Did you keep up with all that? Rick Clark had a birthday.
Rick Clark, yep. Didn't Rick Clark's son have a birthday
his son as well? Had one too. Yep. Mike DeFrecia celebrated an anniversary.
Yep.
Christy Germain had a birthday. Jake Sherman had a birthday. Ben Haas had a birthday. Ben, I messaged Ben. I had a conversation with a guy, Colin Walker, from Muncie, Indiana, who used to watch when we were live at shows and then has been watching a lot of the track shot stuff. And he said, he was talking about Ben, and he said there is nobody out there that when they get excited at Demolition Derby that gets him revved up the way that Ben does. That when he watches it and Ben gets all wound up about something that's happening on track or anything, he likes it. So pass that along to Ben so that Ben got that nice compliment relayed to him. Hopefully he had a good day. Tons of Derby action to hit on at this point. Forthcoming. There's still more Derbies coming up through the end of the year.
There is.
I traded some messages with Sean McCollum that Warzone event is still on.
Cool.
So that's cool. Traded some messages with Mark Elliott today. He taught me that sometimes you need to read the numbers carefully before you do math. Otherwise, you look foolish.
Okay, I let somebody else do the math.
Yeah, I messed up the points when he was sending them to me. I had a question, and I said that math is 12, and he goes, actually, if you're careful, that's 8. And the numbers flip flop. So
well, you're an English major, not a math major.
Yeah, never pretended to not be there. Over the weekend, I got to do two things actually that I'd never done before. Friday, I went down to Elmira and painted a Derby car. I had never done that before. I'd put decals on Derby cars before.
I didn't realize you actually did the paint. That's cool.
I'd never done. Got some folks checking in on the live chat too. I'd never painted a car before. Nope. Cool. And Marty Sager and Lee have a 2-man car that they're taking down to Burlington.
Cool.
It's a Grand Prix, and I did some cars for them for BeamNG, and they said, well, let's get some vinyl printed and we'll wrap this car. I'm like, I don't know if you know what you're asking. What you should really do is spray paint it and probably do it that way. And we traded some messages, and ultimately I went down there with a bag full of neon green paint, and they had the white and black already, and I tried to do my best in replicating the video game car paint job on their car. I am no Jason Sauer.
I will say that I wish it was as easy to make Derby cars look in real life like they do on that game, because I would have Chris Marquardt at my house making some badass looking cars. You know, you mentioned a wrap, though. I remember the last time I ran at the State Fair, there was a car there that was completely wrapped. Mm-hmm. And that was a long time ago when wraps were just first coming out. I can't imagine what that cost somebody. But
right.
It was like, you know, every color of the rainbow and multi-shades, and it was done right, but excuse me. It was looked very impressive.
I mean, all sorts of can fades and layers of paint and stuff. And I actually called Jason and said, what would be really fun is if we could get together and meet up at some point, and we'd surprise them by having you paint the car. And he had a project that he was working on. He can't release it yet, but when it comes out, it is one of the coolest things
in the world.
Oh, yeah. Have you talked to him?
No, I haven't. But
man.
knowing Jason Sauer, his mind works differently than ours, so he does some cool stuff.
He's learning about he's learning about that in express detail too. That his mind works different than corporate minds.
Oh, I bet.
A little different.
I bet.
But yeah, I'm happy for him. That's very cool. And then I got to announce an online derby.
Sweet.
For Realistic Derby Project. They had it was a Hometown Havoc. The track that was made for the weekend was the Griggs County Fairgrounds in Cooperstown, North Dakota.
Sweet.
And it was a lot of fun. I did all the overlays and the graphics and stuff and streamed that out on their channel. And we got to figure out the permissions, though. It wouldn't let me cross-post it to the Crash Course page. But we appreciate everybody that tuned into that. There was 3,600 views last time I looked at it, so that was kind of fun.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're the best at announcing online derbies as you are as announcing real life derbies. You're Chris Marquardt, no one else is.
It felt fun. It was at least fun. Marcella Benjamin checking in. Marcella sent us a message. What's it take to get invited? The door is open.
Absolutely.
I'm waiting for Marcella to come up here because she can tell us all kinds of fun stories about having Mark Benjamin as a dad.
Absolutely. Well, now that you said that, Mark Benjamin probably won't let Marcella come up by herself, so we're probably out there. But hey, I gave Marcella the shout out. She had our Crash Course shirt on at the renamed Iron City Promotions Nationals.
Yep.
So thank you for that. But yeah, she's welcome whenever.
RJ Phillip, he's checking in. RJ won a roof sign from over the weekend as one of the Mad Dog Awards. We'll be getting into that in a minute. Matt Evans listening in, and Kiefer checking in too.
You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
So one of the first nights I get on to do the derby, this voice says, "Brian, you don't know who I am, do you?" And I'm like,
You don't even know how to tell who's talking.
And I'm like, no. And he's like, "It's Matt Evans." And I'm like, oh my God, this Matt Evans is Matt Evans Jr. His father graduated high school with me and was in my wedding.
Really?
Yeah, so I've literally known Matt his entire life. I remember when Matt was born. When Matt Evans Jr. was born, his father was his mom had come up here, and his father was deployed. He was in the Army. He wasn't overseas, but he wasn't on base, whatever. And I remember Matt being born, and I wouldn't hold him in the hospital. I said, I don't think it's right that another man holds somebody else's his baby before the father does. So I wouldn't hold him. So Matt came home and held him, and we went over and visited, and Matt walked over, put him in my hands, and he said, "Here, it means a lot what you said." So I have literally known Matt Evans Jr. since he was pooping green. So it was neat to hear and talk to him a little bit.
I got to dust off the GoPros. The GoPros are coming out for
Really?
Lee and Marty are going to take a couple of them down. I got to get them to Matt so he can get them down to.
They're not all broke. We haven't broke all your GoPros yet.
I told you the story. I was cleaning underneath the desk where all the empty DVD cases and all the archival master discs and stuff were, and I found a bag with 2 more GoPros in it. I forgot I had.
Really?
Yeah, they were brand new GoPro 2s just sitting in there. Wow. I forgot they were there. Nice. I don't remember buying them or anything.
Did you get a 360 before you got out of that? Did you have a 360?
No.
I couldn't remember.
Sam Bando did.
Yeah.
Sam had one.
Yeah, because I remember, didn't he brought it somewhere and wanted you to, like...
He was trying to capture it at...
one of the parties?
No. It was...
Winter Slam?
I wanted to say Winter Slam, but...
Because I remember you
felt like
with
it was hot. I felt like it was hot. We were messing with it, though, but Decker was there. Decker, I'm pretty sure it was Winter Slam. It was the year that Decker had the white and black car.
Okay. Yeah.
And remember Decker's car caught on fire, and he just started ripping the wires out of the dash?
Yeah. That was funny.
That was a good time.
But yeah, I that's cool. I didn't know. I thought all your GoPros had been destroyed by now.
There's a couple of them that are. There's a couple of them that I wanted to send back to GoPro and say, here.
Fix this.
Yeah.
Remember the one? Remember when they did the motorhome derby and you put one on Richie Predmore's?
We ended up leaving them out there.
Yeah, I'm like, can we please? Yeah, we can leave them out there. Yeah, that was bad.
No. There was no way that was coming off.
No.
on the topic of all sorts of demolition derby fun happening, a couple of the people that we never got the chance to put in cars on that I can remember was Devin Germain and all those Mad Dogs that he won in our trips out there to Bash for Cash, and now he's been coming to the States quite frequently. His job title and the Christie job title have changed dramatically here in the last 48 hours or so as they put on a couple derbies and are now owners of Impact Motorsports. So, guys, congratulations on that. And friend to friend, what were you thinking?
I don't really know what we were thinking at all. No.
So talk me through that. I mean, this is huge news for you guys. This is huge news for Bruce over at Impact. This is big news for all of Ontario right now.
Yeah. So it pretty much started out with we promoted that first show, and when we started getting the second show ready, when we were doing the heat draws, we went over to Reg's house, and on our way home, we got a call from Yvette and Greg Johnson, and they pretty much just dropped a bomb on us right away. They didn't sugarcoat anything. It's like, boom, we are looking to retire, and we want to know if you guys are interested, and you're not going to pass that up.
Not at all. We have a lot of respect for Greg and Yvette, and we have a lot of respect for the way they run a show. And it was nice to be able to have that opportunity to sit down with them and talk and be able to kind of work out a deal. And next thing you know, it's, wow, we're signing papers and
shaking hands
and having a whiskey. And
that's how business is done in Canada. You always include the whiskey. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, it's part of the deal.
Absolutely.
I didn't think Christy drank whiskey. I thought it was like Mike's Hard and Bud Light Apple.
No, she's always just my designated driver, which is great.
Yeah, I don't drink at all, so
she'll have a Pepsi.
All right, fair enough. So, is this without I don't know how much of the terms of the deal that you can disclose, but does this mean that you guys are full ownership, or is this going to be a progressive transition where it might take 2 years or 3 years before you guys are on your own? How's this going to look?
No, this is called jumping in with both feet.
Oh,
officially, as of October 31st, Greg and Yvette have transferred the ownership over to us. And, we take over. Greg has agreed to kind of stay on and help us out to just get us through the first, at least, season.
Q&A and introduce us to some of the contacts at the fair boards and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they're there they want to retire. They want to enjoy their they want to enjoy their summers. They want to enjoy their fall, and so they're going to be there whenever we need a question, that sort of stuff, for the first few months. But after that, we're pretty much on our own. So it's a big learning curve. It's a lot of stuff, but we have an amazing team behind us, and we have great support from our family and our friends and stuff like that. So we're really looking forward to it, and we can't wait to take on this new kind of challenge. So
let's go backward before we go forward real quick. You said that they were looking to get out. They were looking to retire. Were you guys? It sounds a little bit, at least to an extent, that they were waiting for the right people to come along. How long were they waiting to get out? And was your first show here back at Humberstone an audition, so to say, that helped them make their decision?
I don't know. That's a great question. I know that running their shows for, how long have we ever run their shows for?
I've been running for 7-8 years, at least, running for Impact.
Right.
Running their shows, and then when they had shut down for the year, and then we were all so excited when they came back, excited to go and run more Impact shows. So we had no indication whatsoever that they were looking at, retiring and spending some time, except, following little Snapchats here and there and watching them enjoy themselves. And we're all sitting here stressed out doing the show at Humberstone and getting it all ready with all these COVID restrictions, and I'm watching them out enjoying themselves, and I'm thinking, wow, I wish I was that. No, I'm just kidding.
But they had shows scheduled for 2020, so I had no idea they were looking to retire, really.
Yeah, it completely blindsided Devin and I when we were driving home from Reg's after the heat draws, and we got the call, and we're sitting there. I actually had to pull over, and I just looked at Devin for a good 5 minutes, and we just couldn't even speak to each other. We were just like in awe that they would even consider having that conversation with us. So it's very flattering, extremely flattering. We're very grateful that they struck that conversation up with us, and we feel that we exemplify, or that we follow that same sort of principle that Greg does with regards to ensuring that rules are rules and tech is tech, and it's treated.
And we're a show for the drivers. We want to make the drivers happy.
Yeah.
Sure.
So.
I mean, you guys have done that already just in the little bit that you've been able to launch here in 2020 under the limits between Humberstone and then over at Merrittville. Merrittville was this weekend, right?
Yeah, the last 2 days.
It was. Yeah. We went from never promoting a show ever to running Humberstone with 137 cars in one day to jumping into Merrittville with Reg as our what do you call it?
Assistant.
Well, I wouldn't call it assistant. Yeah, assistant promoter, I guess. Co-promoter, and having 205 cars the first day and almost
100 on the other day.
Yeah, the second day, and having 3 shows essentially, because we had one show Saturday and then we had 2 separate shows on Sunday, and
one in the afternoon, one in the evening.
It was exhausting.
I got thrown into flagging enduro racing in there too. That the track had set up in one in the morning show and one in the evening show. I've never flagged a race before either. That was pretty cool.
Well, the enduros, there's not much to do. You wave the green flag and stand back and watch. I mean, that's all you really do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a huge crowd, red flag. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was interesting to go from we basically in our 2 shows had just over 400 cars in 2 shows, and I'm in awe that our drivers are so happy to join and support us, and our sponsors. I can't even begin to tell you guys. Like Chris, you're one of our sponsors. RJ won the roof sign from you in the heat, and it's just phenomenal the amount of support that Devin and I have had. Like, we've run as derby drivers, and I try to do as much as I can at a lot of the shows by being there and taking pictures and doing a lot of media stuff and a lot of admitting stuff and all that. But when you're actually there and you're meeting people, and then we strike up something, and all of a sudden the support we had was just phenomenal, and we're just so grateful and happy that they're able to do that. So
we had people coming up to us last night in the middle of the show, handing cash, saying, I want to add to the feature payouts, like just dropping it right in the middle of the day. Like it just didn't stop.
That's awesome. That doesn't just happen everywhere. No. I mean, that's really that's awesome.
We for sure have the best sponsors there are. Like, it's amazing. That was the endless support.
Like we had, for example, a sponsor, Brian General, and Gail Hill from Gail's Auto Aftermarket. They show up with an intention to hand out $500 for a Mad Dog, and Brian shows up and says, Gail and I talked, and we're handing out $2,000 today. Like, how can you even fathom that type of support from people as they show up to the show, right? Like, hey, I'm showing up intending to hand out $500, but I brought $2,000 today, and if I'm impressed, I'm handing out $2,000 to your drivers. Like, that's phenomenal.
So we let him be on the side of the ring with us. When he feels there's a Mad Dog that's earned, he talks to one of the flag guys, we red flag it. It's his decision, it's his money.
Just like Bash, right?
Yeah.
Just pull them out, they go straight to the feature, and it's completely on the general. So
he's a tough guy to impress, too, so you got to be on it.
That's awesome.
Man, I cannot remember who did that before.
Brett.
I know Brett.
Brett did it at the first Coues, I know for sure.
Yeah.
Brett did do it the first Coues because he walked up to Devin and handed Devin cash.
He did.
Coues.
You guys were running ahead of me. That was a conversation that was had during the planning of Kings of Old School, that it happened someplace else, and it left such an impact on, no pun intended, sorry. It left such a mark on Brett that he wanted to make sure that happened at Kings of Old School, because it showed how much he appreciated it. And when you think about what was just said, we went from $500 to $2,000. That's a $1,500 jump.
Swing.
Just because I want Mark to know that I can do math. that is more than some county fair's purse. As a whole. And,
absolutely.
The last time I remember a big jump like that was when they put an extra $5,000 over at Cass in the Valley.
Yep, it's just us,
the compactor.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
They shelled out all that money because they had such a turnout. So I mean, that's just crazy.
amazing.
There's a lot to unpack in what you're going over there. I guess the first thing is with the driver support that you had this weekend. What is the wishes of the transition, trying to stay true to what Impact was and the rules that they had versus what you guys have been able to do in your two shows by letting drivers have a little bit more and trying to keep that expectation versus what some of these other carryover contracts are going to be expecting in terms of the rule book for the drivers at their fair events? What's going to happen there?
Well, obviously, each fair is individual and each fair is different, so we have to make sure that we maintain that level of what they expect. Impact was all about putting on a show and a production. It was a production for the drivers and for the spectators. So we want to bring that, and we want to still maintain that. Obviously, it's a legacy that both Greg and Yvette have, and even Johnny and all of their tech staff have brought to the table, and we have big shoes to fill.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
So when we go out to these fairs, and as we're now meeting them and hopefully continuing that contract with them, we're going to obviously have that level of, they're going to have that level of expectation to have a certain flair and a certain thing, but we're also going to bring our style to it as well. We're going to ensure that we have, different things and add something new to the table for them, right? But
Potentially different classes. Like we have the junk run, like that's not a class that happens up here right now. Mm-hmm. So when some of these newer fairs see that, they might be really impressed with that.
Yeah,
they may have had minivan heats for the last 8 years or so, but they've never seen us throw SUVs in there. So they might be super shocked with that. The fans are going to love that. The fair board should love that.
Absolutely.
And even things like we also opened up, we wanted to bring a lot of stuff that we love about running in the States. We wanted to open up the compacts to a higher wheelbase and allow Luminas to run in the compact class, which they don't do up here.
That doesn't happen up here at all.
And we wanted to allow any year car to compete. So we brought
everything up
the
here.
Imperials back, and you saw Rick Clark brought an Imperial to the show this weekend, and everyone just stood there and went, didn't know what to do. They were like, oh my God, there's an Imperial.
As soon as they see it pull in the pits, everybody's going nuts, super pumped, right? And that's what we're trying to bring.
We had a lot of metric GMs, a lot of old iron.
There's a few 03 and newers. It was an awesome variety, and that's what we're trying to make a rule book for, so it's not a Crown Vic show every time for full size.
Sure.
We open up the wheelbase because I don't want to see
just
a heat of Camrys nonstop all day long. I want to see a mix.
Yep.
We have quite a few W bodies. We had Ford Tauruses. We had a nice variety this time, which I really liked.
That's
what we're trying to do is bring that variety up.
And that's, as a fan, that's something that I enjoy. When they opened the rules up a little bit at Blizzard Bash, and you started seeing the old iron running against the Fords, I love that, because who doesn't like seeing a Ford junked by a Cadillac? I mean, let's be honest, it's pretty cool to see.
Absolutely.
And
us GM lovers love that.
I've heard nothing but good things. I mean, it's really great for you guys. Hopefully, we can get this damn border opened up, and you can get some of us New Yorkers to come up and run for you guys. That'd be fun. I mean, I would definitely. I mean, I travel 3 hours to get to almost 3 hours to get to Gully Show. I could do 2.5 or 3 to get into Canada to run. So.
You have an enhanced, right?
We would love to have you guys up here for that. That would you would love running our V8 heat. It's we had 50 V8 cars on the weekend, and that's almost unheard of around here now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our V8 turnouts you're lucky to get a 15 car heat throughout the whole day. It's usually a compact show, right?
Yep.
So to have 50 V8 cars, and we had guys from hours and hours away, and they were awesome action, track shots everywhere. It was great.
Yeah, we had people from Quebec, 7 hours. They drove 7 hours to run the show, and that just to us tells us that's phenomenal. We couldn't thank them enough for attending. 7 hours to run our show on Saturday was just we weren't expecting that. So
that's for a one and done and heat as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, did you run all the cars at once, all the V8s at once?
No, we had 2 25-car heats.
Gotcha.
We had 50 entries, and we did the heat draws for them. So I like doing the online heat draws, kind of like Gully does.
Yep.
It gives everybody a little chance before the show to make your alliances or give each other some, like, bust each other's chops, all that. You know, how fun it is, right?
Yep.
And then, so we actually did them as one and done. We didn't do, like, taking top whatever and put them in a feature. We just actually held them as standalone heat.
Separate features, and it was non-stop action, which I like too.
You know, that was this year at Mini Meltdown. That's every heat was its individual feature. They paid really well for each heat in the compacts, and then you know the other cars were one is done as well. And it's probably hard to believe, but I think the guys drove even harder because they didn't have to save anything for the feature.
Right. You don't have to. It's so much easier
Watching
to travel.
those videos, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah,
You don't have to bring extra tires and all the other garbage and everything to fix the car in the pits.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten past the stage of wanting to fix cars between heats and features. I'm good to run once, load on the trailer, and go homeward. But yeah, that's great to hear. I'm definitely looking forward to catching some action up there.
Have you got the results from this weekend right there handy?
Yeah, so Blair Micklejohn won the compact, $5,000 to win, so that's what in American, like 3,700?
Yep.
Something like that.
Give or take.
Around there.
So he won the 5,000. So Camry, he was driving a Camry. Second place was Camry. Third place was a W body. So that was it was nice to see the W body in there. When we opened the wheelbase up for compacts, everyone complained saying that there's no way that they're going to beat a W body. They're not competing, blah, 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 all this stuff. So it was really nice to see that the Camry will beat a W body, which is what we told everyone all
Some
along.
of the compact drivers were a little upset about the increase in wheelbase, but on the bright side, it made the full-size drivers super pumped that they didn't have to run against the Luminas, right?
Yeah.
And it helps the rear-wheel drive car count.
Sure.
Yeah.
So for compacts, it was Blair Micklejohn. For Junk Run, believe it or not, her name is Marissa. It was the very first time she'd ever even been in a derby. She didn't even realize she had won at the time when Devin walked over.
I threw the checker flag, and she's holding on to the steering wheel with both hands, looking at me in shock. She's like, what do we stop for? I'm like, you just won. Good job.
That's awesome.
So that's exciting. And I looked at her and said, are you crazy? The first derby you ever went in is a van? Like, wow, congrats. And then for our V8 heat,
We had Tom Robbins. He won the first heat, and Rick Clark won the second heat in his Imperial.
and then for trucks,
it was Mitch Johnson in first and Rick Clark in second. And what was last? Oh, couples. Couples, we had
Katie Smith
and Brad DeLue. They won the first. The couples, that was Katie's first win as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jeepers.
And everyone loved the couples class. Everyone loved it.
The best is when you throw the checker flag and you see, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or whatever it is. They're jumping up and down, just holding each other, hugging each other. Like, it's one of those memories you're forced to, like, share together, and you're going to hold it forever.
Mm-hmm. Then, of course, there's the fight over the prize money afterwards. But, hey, that's out of your hands. I mean, once you write the check, it's up to them.
Because I wrote the check out, and I wrote it to Katie. So there you go. She drove, she gets it.
She wheeled it. Brad was the passenger.
Awesome.
Should have known.
You should have known, right? I remember when I won couples class at Fall Brawl with Impact. I can remember, still to this day, I bug Devin and tell him that I have the biggest trophy in the house. So,
Only like an eighth of an inch, but I'm still going to give it to her.
So my trophy was the biggest in the house, and it still is.
So far.
And it's the only trophy I've won. So
Is Fall Brawl the derby that ran 2 rings at the same time?
correct.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
We've talked about it in the show before with basically you got 2 pits because there's so many cars you got to get through the day before more or less before it starts to freeze again.
Yeah.
And you got both those rings going at the same time. It is very cool.
So, Devin, what's this going to do with you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What's this going to do with your building and driving for next season?
It's definitely slowing down on the local shows, that's for sure. But I'm definitely still coming down to Mini Meltdown. Still going to be down at Bash for Cash. I'll still be running Dunkirk, New York, and a bunch of my local shows. We'll be building all year and doing the best we can to fit them all in.
Cool.
I can't stop driving. I love it too much.
That's cool.
This weekend also had some...
Did you see the size of the ring this weekend?
It was a pretty good-sized pit.
Yeah.
Oh, it was huge.
Healthy.
It was 200 feet by 85 feet.
That's good. That'll get
Hard,
done.
tacky. Nobody was digging a hole.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The You also had some tribute cars there this weekend. Thinking of Dale and Logan Savory up there.
Yes, we did. We did have a lot of support this weekend for the Savory family. Unfortunately, they lost their son Logan, who's 2 years old. He passed away about 2 weeks ago. So the Derby community, as always, how they are amazing, stepped in and actually did a lot of fundraising and support for them. We did have a moment of silence, and the compact feature was in memory of Logan. And Dale and his family donated a sportsmanship. The youngest driver in the heats that was the most sportsmanship got an award in memory of Logan. So that was Colby Purster, who has just graduated from going from youth class to adult class or regular class, and Colby took that award home. So,
as well as his first Mad Dog award in his qualifying heat as well.
That a boy. That's a good day.
Oh, he was having an awesome day.
Good for him.
So we as the Derby community are very proud of the fact that they stepped in and helped out the Savory family. It was wonderful. So it was great to see. It was a little choked up. We had a few moments. Tried to talk through it, but everyone was good. They all revved their engines up for Logan, so I'm sure he was looking down and was thrilled to hear all the cars revving for him.
And there was, I think, like 8 cars in the feature with Team Logan door wraps.
Yeah.
And what I really enjoyed is they didn't team up to everybody. Everybody was fair game, and it was a great show, and that's what friends do, right?
Absolutely.
For each other, and then we beat each other up in the ring a little bit.
That's how you
Did you get a good look at those wraps, by chance?
I did.
Corey Beal did those. Black Flag did them, and they found the bunny, like the little stuffed bunny that Logan had, and it was incorporated into the wraps. It was really cool.
It was.
Nice.
Yep.
It was adorable. They had the bunny on there, and they had in the award that we gave out to Colby that Colby won. There was a wonderful picture of Logan on there as well, and it was nice to see. It was a good tribute. Very happy.
Dale also had a banner made up that he hung on the side of his car while it was in the heat lineups for the whole day too. That was very nice.
Nice.
Sweet.
One of the first derbies that you told me about, Christy, when we met 1,000 years ago was, I think it was Arn Pryor and Bobby Cousineau used to win quite a bit up there. Does that sound right?
That would have probably been Lindsay area.
Okay.
If we're talking about Cousineau. Cousineau, oh my God. If we're going to Cousineau, he put on a show this weekend. It was insane. But I'll digress and let you ask.
Well, that was one of the 2 places I was heading. I was going to sort of set the table so that you could talk about the run that he had this weekend, and then I was going to transition over to is Impact going to be up in his neck of the woods next year?
So Cousineau laid down.
Oh, he was on the throttle like nonstop. Like I haven't heard a small block bounce off the rev limiter so much in my life. It was amazing.
His entire engine, it was nosed sky high. And what happened to his car at the end there?
I'm not sure, but it was awesome.
So he took home the Mad Dog and the win at the Derby the Dog Pound in August. He won the V8 heat, and then he also took home the overall Mad Dog of the day at Derby the Dog Pound. He brought the exact same car that he ran there
with modifications,
and turned around and ran. And I think he finished 4th in the heat, somewhere around there.
Give or take, yeah.
Around 4th. He was battling it down at the end, or 5th maybe, and he won the Mad Dog again.
Yeah, you got the heat and the Mad Dog in the heat, and there was also another donation made up for the overall V8 Mad Dog, which he also won that as well. Yeah.
So he's on a tear right now. And to answer your question, we are hoping to continue the tradition of having Impact in Derby Town in Lindsay. So provided that Lindsay Fairgrounds and some of the other fairs in that area are going to welcome us, then we will definitely be there and bringing Impact to that area as well. So,
what's the status of stuff over at the Arn Pryor area?
Arn Pryor's way up near Ottawa. They're
very far away from us.
That's really far away from us. Arn Pryor is in the Ottawa area. Ottawa is one of the hot spots, so basically everything in that area right now is kind of going back to phase 1 or 2.
Yeah, they shut them back down again.
They're all shut down. Same with Toronto. But it's Arn Pryor. I don't think is something that we would ever end up out in that area because it's a good almost 7 hours from
it's far.
No, I'm not saying that. I wasn't suggesting that Impact would have the Derby up there. Just with the way the conversation went, I was just asking how things were going up there for those guys. No, that was a pretty popular part of the country for you guys that was very busy with Demolition Derby. Sort of the way that we've got these different pockets with Dunkirk and Delaware County and stuff. Arden Pryor is one of those. We don't talk about it nearly as much as we probably should. It's a.
I don't think we've never run anything at Arden Pryor because.
We have a lot of friends that run up there.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends that'll run in that area, but we've never run up there. We always run more local. Like in Ontario, it's weird because you have to remember the size from the top of Ontario to the bottom of Ontario is the same width from New York to Florida. So it takes us 22 hours to go from one end of Ontario to the other. So it's a big province.
Right.
There's a lot of pockets. So in the southern area where we are, we can go to derbies. There's derbies every weekend, right?
Sure.
So we have a lot of options when it comes to derby in the area. But yeah, Ontario's a huge province.
But I can also ask Christy about what's going on in Calgary, and she'll have a little bit of an answer, too.
Well, yeah.
Well,
you have to talk to Hector about that.
Yeah. Have with Hector. I'll have him on and give a thing. But we did also, I don't know if you heard Jeffy's announcement. So we've got to, add a little bit more on our plate because Jeffy has grown so much and gotten so big, which is phenomenal. He is actually grown to the point where he can't keep up with everything in Canada, so he has now put all of that kind of responsibility on Devin and I. So now we've taken over Fab Farm Canada to help and distribute everything in Canada.
Try to take some weight off of Jeffy's shoulders.
So that he can devote more time in the shop, because there's just one fabricator, and he really needs to be in the shop. So Devin and I have, on top of...
Until they perfect clones, Jeffy's on his own.
Yeah, so on top of taking over the promoting part of, Impact Motorsports, we're now looking at helping and taking over all of Canada for Jeffy. So yeah, Calgary, we can let you know what's going on out there, I'm sure, sooner or later.
As well as we also have full-time jobs we have to balance in that too.
Yeah. We're good.
There's 24 hours in a day. Sleep is really overrated. I wouldn't even worry about it, so you'll be good.
I have about 4.5 hours of sleep over the whole weekend, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It sounds like Chris Marquardt on one of our road trips, because he is a beast when it comes to working on those shows. But now I don't want to let anything out of the bag or anything like that early. But would you say there's a good chance that Impact Motorsports has derbies, or a derby at least, at Humberstone and/or Merrittville next year?
I'm going to say that's a pretty good indication that that'll happen. Yes.
Sweet.
Good deal.
Very cool.
Yeah, we've actually had a conversation with one of our local tracks about kind of trying to do what Frankie Guy did. We really look up to Frankie, and we think he is pretty phenomenal. So his, Roaring Knob kind of situation where it was the same derby at the same location at the same time kind of thing. We've actually chatted with one of our tracks about doing that. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing something like that at Humberstone. And
keep in mind, it's also only like 15 minutes over the border.
Yeah,
Humberstone Speedway.
Oh, I know. I've been to both. I've been to both. We've raced at Merrittville, and the one time I went to Humberstone, strangely enough, there was supposed to be a demolition derby, but it got rained out. The whole race got rained out, so we didn't end up seeing a race there. But
yeah, it's fun. It's so funny because they're such a different breed when they look at the weather. And
yeah, we had the track owner come up on Saturday because it was supposed to rain, and it started sprinkling. He's like, "So what do we do in this situation? Like, do we go inside to the bar, or do we just red flag it?" I'm like, no, we just keep going. What do you mean? Like, it's raining. It's not that big of a deal.
This might be. I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Was that Gasport when you were there, or was it Humberstone?
Humberstone. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in one of the between
first time or the second time. Or
yeah, it was a name change. This might be a stretch, but I know a guy that works at Merrittville for the dirt track races, and I don't know if he was there or not for the Derby. His name's Huey Tripp. You wouldn't happen to know that guy, would you?
No, I didn't meet anyone Huey, but
the track had a whole bunch of staff there. I didn't talk to much of any of them really.
Does he do a lot of the track maintenance?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what it does. Him and his son, I think, both work there. But in the '60s, he used to come down here and race, and he's he's still great friends with my parents, and when my parents go up there, he takes care of them. So I just didn't know if.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So very cool. Hopefully, I would love to get up to Canada and run a derby. So hopefully next year all this garbage is over and we can get back up there.
Sure enough.
You guys are welcome anytime. You know that.
We would love
Absolutely.
to have all you guys up here.
Of course, we'll leave a day early so we can get across the border after we explain to them we're taking a car to Canada and smashing, coming back tomorrow. They may look at us a little funny, but we'll see.
Hey, we have to deal with it.
Yeah,
we do
it's
it
true.
all the time, so.
That's true. Well, eventually I got to come to Canada and pick up a car from Bad Ronnie. So
Ron.
sooner or later I'm going to get that done. It's funny today. My son goes, Dad. He goes, when this Corona garbage is over, he goes, we got to get a trailer and go to Canada and get that suicide. And I'm like, yeah, Zach, I know. We got to go get that suicide. So
Ron actually came and helped us tech on Saturday because it's been so long since he's been around a derby because since August, I guess. But
We all know Ron. He lives derby just like we do.
He called us and he's like, I'm going a little crazy. Can I come up and do you guys need help teching? And we're like, how are you going to turn away Ron McClung, right?
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, that's
How are
cool.
you going to turn away help from a veteran like that?
Yeah.
No kidding.
So he came up and Reg pioneered the V8 line, so he was in charge of
V8s
teching
and trucks.
V8s and trucks, and he had a phenomenal team with him. He had Jason Dixon, who was the promoter for Dresden. He had
Ron Hillman.
He had
Ron McClung.
Who else do you have over there? He had Jason Lockwood, who was a
Jason
former.
Lockwood.
He used to formerly work with Impact quite a few years ago. Who else was on the?
That was on the. Oh, we had Ricky on there doing the cut list, and then we had myself, Josh Lambert, Martin Coline, and Daniel LeBlanc on the compact line. And we had Martin. He's a huge W body guy. Daniel's huge into the Camrys. So am I. And Josh Lambert's huge into the Hondas. So we were pretty much covered.
Nice.
Is that
Having that specialty, right?
Yeah, and Ron McClung's built everything there is to build, as well as Reg Bonneau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron Hillman, he's built a lot of the older 70s cars.
And it was nice for him to have that experience with the Imperials too. He knew a lot about the Imperials.
Absolutely,
so when
yeah.
Rich pulled in, you can't kind of pass that over. We had that expertise there, and Jason Dixon as well. Like, he's just phenomenal when it comes to 03 and newer stuff, and knowing how to, all the stuff that goes along with that I have no clue
They
about.
built a bunch of the 70s Fords. So they built a wide variety of cars as well, which we need when you have a tech line for V8s. You don't know what's showing up, right?
And they're all current builders, which is important.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. If I'm at a derby and Rick Clark pulls in with an Imperial, I'm probably going to say the words "oh shit" and then plan on trying to run for second. Not going to lie. That's probably how it's going to go.
Well, I was a little bit surprised that everyone allowed him to walk on through. Like, no one hit him really. Like,
There's a few people on him, but then a lot of people are like, I don't really want to mess with an Imperial.
yeah.
I understand that.
So I shouldn't say he walked to win. That's not how he earned it.
100%. He had some
earned the
big
win.
drivers in that heat.
That heat was stacked with some pretty big names.
Some of the best in Ontario by far.
You had the Switzers. Both the Switzers were in there, and you have
It was Mike Davidson, Cole Jameson, like Clinton Hill. Like, he had a stacked heat.
Yeah, B.J. Haining going for a Mad Dog in there.
Sean Woodham was in that heat. Like, he had a very, very tough heat.
You got Tubby.
Yeah.
Just wanted to junk stuff.
Yeah. It was not an easy heat for him to win.
Because I don't know exactly where everybody is. Are the Ingrams close to you guys up there, or are they farther away?
Dustin Ingram and Jordan Ingram, they're about 3.5 hours away.
Wow.
They're not far.
Gotcha.
It's like when we talk to the folks in Montana and the Dakotas. 3.5 hours. It's not far.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's a short drive for
It's a
us.
short drive through Toronto.
Gotcha.
On the other side of Toronto, it's all cruising down the back roads, right?
Absolutely.
We gauge everything on how far it takes for you to get to Toronto, because you never know how long you're going to drive through Toronto.
Yes.
Through Toronto can be a 15-minute drive, or it can be a 4-hour drive. So you kind of gauge everything on from Toronto North or Toronto South. Or East or West, I should say. East or West.
I've cruised. We went on our honeymoon to Toronto. So I think I said this before. Saw Phantom of the Opera, yada yada yada. And we were out like walking around, and we went to a restaurant. We were talking with a lady, and she's like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" And we told her, and she's like, "You're walking around Toronto at night by yourselves." And we're like, "Yeah, why?" And she's like, it's not a good thing to do. And I'm like, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. She's like, okay, it can't be. But, yeah, I've had
It's really not that bad. It's just super busy all the time.
Yeah, I've had some, we had a lot of fun in Toronto.
In Canada.
Went to Skydome for a concert. That was a good time, or whatever they call Skydome now. It was Skydome in the 90s.
We still call it Skydome. We don't call it Rogers Center or whatever the hell it is now. It's Skydome.
Yeah. It's a good show.
Awesome.
But yeah, but we're also we can't thank you guys enough for the support. We can't thank all of our friends that are in the U.S. Like, we have promoters in the U.S. that are calling us and giving us advice and helping us, like, you know, Frankie, and we have, obviously, Jeffy is always talking to us. He's not a promoter, but he's always giving us advice.
Best wishes and all that.
Yeah, he's just so excited for us as well. And Impact and Jeffy's Fab Farm have always had an amazing relationship from the dawn of time, so we're now continuing that relationship even better because, you know,
it couldn't be a better pairing right now.
Couldn't be a better pairing for us. And then we have, like, you know, TJ McCullough that's always giving us insight and having chats with us and stuff like that. So it's...
And he's new getting into the promoting game, too, so as are we.
We're in the
So we've been bouncing each other's ideas off each other for months now, like trying to keep each other in the loop. And what works for us is we're giving tips for them and, you know, kind of how it works.
And I got to get tips from Chris Marquardt on how to do the... commentating all day and not lose your voice, because my gosh, my voice is killing me today.
Diaphragm, not shoulders.
There you go. There we go. You heard it first here.
You gotta learn how to breathe. That's everything.
That I think I agree with you on that, because I felt very out of breath at times.
I think adrenaline got to you.
Yeah.
It's definitely something you got to get used to. I mean, I can remember the first time Chris we'd done this a bunch. And Chris was like, come to Black Rock and help me announce. And I'm like, And he's like, it's the same thing. I'm like, And then I ended up doing it because you can't say no to Chris Marquardt. And it's definitely something you got to get used to. I mean, it's, you know, and then we've obviously done it a couple times since then, but it's definitely something you got to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because I know all the Derby guys, like the Derby guys, and I know stuff about them, and it's nice because I love about Chris announcing is because he knows the stories, he knows the people, it's very personal. And the Derby side of things on Saturday was great because I know the majority of the drivers there, I know who they are. But the figure eight side of things, I'm not a big figure eight person, so I didn't really know a lot of the figure eight guys, but I'll tell you this, by the end of the night, I knew every single number and who they were, and we were cheering them on, and they put on such a show. It was amazing.
It was fast-paced racing, like super fast.
I'm now a fan of figure eight. It was wonderful.
That's cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad everything is going so well. I look forward to learning more as your season develops for next year. I trust that the website and stuff will be turned over, but it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to continue to leverage stuff on the Mad Dog Motorsports page in addition to the Impact Facebook pages.
Yeah, just add one more thing to the list, of course. Yeah. So, no, it'll be Impact will have all of our information. We're going to transfer all the promoting stuff over to the Impact side of things. Nice. Mad Dog will essentially be everything to do with when Devin's
driving, yeah.
Our driving. So that'll be when we show up at Bash, he'll be under the Mad Dog Motorsports guys, he'll be under that sort of thing. And then when we're actually promoting, it'll all be under Impact. So it'll be, we'll have the two separate sites, and all of the rules and the schedules and stuff like that will be slowly moved over to the Impact side of things. So
awesome. Well, again, guys, congratulations.
We're very excited.
It was great news to learn that over the weekend, and I'm glad that the event at Merrittville went so well.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Chris, for always being an amazing supporter of everything that we do up here. And thank you for, RJ's ecstatic. He can't wait to get in touch with you and do his roof sign and stuff like that. And Brody Howick had his roof sign there. He didn't get to run this weekend. His car conked out or something like that, but his roof sign was displayed. He was very happy with it. So thank you so much. And Brian, you're awesome as well. I can't wait to have you come up and run.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
RJ is very excited about his roof sign. He was messaging me about it most of the day Sunday, and I finally had to break the news to him. I'm not doing artwork on Sunday. I'll get with you.
It's Thanksgiving weekend up here, so we should have all been chilling and relaxing because we're having Thanksgiving and we haven't even had our turkey yet. So we're going to Hooters for wings for.
There was actually
That's awesome.
2 figure eight drivers that showed up. It's a family, father and son, and they had a full spread in the pits.
Awesome.
Full turkey dinner.
They went, raced their heat, they came back, and they're having turkey dinner in the pits. They skipped the consolation round for the first show. They said, nope, we're having turkey dinner. So they had that in the pits, and then they were ready to go for the evening show, all full belly, ready to go.
Can't beat that.
Awesome.
Super nice guys, too. They offered us all dinner. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, we won't keep you any longer. Go enjoy Hooters. I guess chicken wings are just as good as turkey dinner.
It's still poultry, right?
It is. It's got to count for something. Well, happy Thanksgiving, guys, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
You
Have a
bet.
good
Thanks
one.
for coming on. That was
Bye, guys.
David and Christy Germain. I forgot about that. It's Thanksgiving weekend up there. It was a big thing at Super Dirt Week every year. When Super Dirt Week wrapped up, it was all the Canadians were doing their Thanksgiving deal.
Yeah, they were going home Monday because we all had to go back to work Monday, and they all went home to a extended weekend.
Right. So a couple things that we got to rip through quick. We missed the results on Mandan's Derby at the beginning of the month. 75 cars signed in. Up there, Jeff Chrisman, Big Daddy, he won the chain class over Andrew Sherrado. Brooke Davis was third limited cars. Brett Stringer won over Brady Larson and Carson Dixon. Tanner Workhoven was fourth. Troy Franklin was fifth. Sean Lundstedt got the Mad Dog Award there. Wild Cars, Tanner Workhoven won that over Brady Larson. Austin Thomas Kelly, Eric Tatey, and Trey Peterson. Neil Moore was Mad Dog. I think that was like minivans, basically. The man vans, Trenton Fisher won that over Andrew Sherrado. Second place on the weekend for Andrew. Scott Nauman, Mike Howes got the Mad Dog there. Compacts, Ron James got first and Mad Dog. Ron James, Niebauer, Corey Hochhalter, and Craig Schlaufman. Some rough names right there to try and read through. And, the top three from Compacts. Right. What's that?
So if we mispronounce them, send them in. We'll get them right next week.
Trucks. Christian Schmaltz won over Jacob Becker and Brent Zaniel, taking third in the truck side of things. All right, so let's shift gears here, and we'll run through the results from Connorsville. Full-size gut and go was Lil Dave Smith winning over Ethan Smaltz and Ed Woodward. The mini gut and go was Jeremy Riley or J.D. King and John Rutherford. Mini weld class, Mariah Reese winning over Sean Reese and Kenny Bloom. Minivan, John Shipley. It's 10 out of 11 for those of you keeping score at home. Shipley. Remember, there's an E in there. Over Jeremy Riley and Ryan Kemley. Full-size stock was Randy Perry, Jared Payton, Bob Moore. Back through the top three. Smash It Mini class, John Rutherford winning that one over Jordan Rutherford and Colt Butler. No points awarded for that one. And the cleanup minivan was Mike Heasley over Robert Lewis and Jeff Willard. So that brings us to the situation with the points with only a couple Scott Kiefer. Scott, I know you're listening right now, and I see your message, and I guarantee that I will try to remember that, and I probably won't message you when the show's over with because I'll forget by the time I get home. Send me a message right to my personal page, and I'll be able to get back to you a little bit more efficiently. So let's pull this stuff up here while we got a moment. And you can see there's only 2 shows left on the schedule for the 527 Unified Point Series. Wicked Derby's team show, October 23rd and 24th in Evansville, and then Coke Promotions Turkey Derby in Portland, Indiana is going to round it out. John Shipley extends his lead to 16 points going into the team show, winning the 16 truck and van shootout. That's 10 wins in 11 starts. His other one was a third, I believe. Jeremy Riley, he gained some ground on Don Santel. You can see there he's got 72 points. So he closed that to 18 points. Riley scored 8 points in the van and truck heat and replaced that with a win in the mini car gut and go. Even bigger, Jeremy's efforts there were able to get him to into a lock for third place.
Nice.
So that iced everybody else out of third place with that. J.D. King jumped from 10th to 7th and is now tied with Nick King. You can see them over there tied for 7th. All of those guys have 34 points. Also William Close right up in there as well. 2 shows left. Don Santel didn't score any points that weekend.
I don't think he ran, did he?
He ran.
Really?
It got rough. A couple locals might have jumped on him. I did not reach out and get any concrete details on anything that may or may not have happened along those lines, but that didn't sound like that ended well. But hopefully he's okay and there's nobody hurt or anything. But you get 6 guys jumping on you or something like that, it can get pretty rough,
Wow. Didn't hear those details. We'll have to talk after.
Yeah. Let's see. We already did that. Smash It Demolition Derby, smashitderby.com. Fall cleanup event, pro stock, modified truck, street stock, full size, street stock compact, street stock minivan, truck SUV, Smash It compacts and Power Wheels. It's going to be a busy weekend for those guys. October the 24th, that is the last event of the year for Smash It Demolition Derbies. Look at Dal Pollock. He's excited about Shipley picking up that win. I mean, just what a year. What a year he has had.
Not bad, huh?
We heard about Jeffy's Fab Farm. Check out the virtual store and order now. Jeffy'sFabFarm.com, recognized as an industry leader in all manner of fabrication needs. The Fab Farm is a national go-to for a number of demolition derby parts. They specialize in LS conversion components, but earn major credentials with their various header offerings. The Fab Farm has that solid 4-cylinder engine, Camry engine mount that we've been telling you about, and also the headers for the 1.8 and 2.0 liter displacement Hyundai Elantras. The store offers bumper-to-bumper selection, including fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedals, shifters, switches, and gauges. If you need it, you can find it on the farm, Jeffy'sFabFarm.com. Rounding out our evening is Smith Metalworks, an all-purpose fabrication shop that has taken the Northeast by storm, featuring more than 40 years of fine metalworking experience. The hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers. You can't go wrong with a super stock bumper. That thing is a monster, and you can run it loaded or as it is. Replicating the popular factory releases, the flat bumper, typically that goes on the back, and it can change some dynamics back there too. To say the least, they can be run stuffed or ran hollow. There's also a compact version of the pointed bumper available as well. Other items include the Crown Vic door skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, pedal combos, and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor clamps, welding centers. Be sure to ask about the GM floor liners. In-person pickup locations in Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or they can get it shipped online. You can place your order, smithmetalworks.info. So, what you got? Any
I think we get out of here so you can try to get your back to unpunched. Chris has been fighting his back for the last 56 minutes, so we're going to cut out here quick.
We covered a lot, so we are all done on this one. 327 is in the books. We will see everybody again next time here on the Crash Course. We'll see you then.
Crash Course Live is presented by Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, hosts of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com. Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel, and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.